Telling you this first is because some of the things I'm about to tell you, you're not going to believe. First, I see ghosts. Real ghosts. They look like you and me sometimes. They're paper white. Well, sometimes they're a baby blue color. There are even the misty black ones, and those I try to steer clear of. They are bad news. To those of you who have seen ghosts, good for you. Well, unless one of the ghosts... It's time to sit back and relax with your favorite drink. And listen. No, I'm not crazy. The reason I'm telling you this first is because some of the things I'm about to tell you, you're not going to believe. First, I see ghosts. Real ghosts. They look like you and me sometimes. They're paper white. Well, sometimes they're a baby blue color. There are even the misty black ones, and those I try to steer clear of. They are bad news. To those of you who have seen ghosts, good for you. Well, unless one of the ghosts you know used to be a child napper. That was my first one. The weeping woman, La Llorona. Don't ask how I survived, because honestly, as a kid, well, you're told when bad things happen to blink 3 times and they will just go away. That's what I did, and amazingly, it worked. After that, there were a lot of the black shadows and a few blue ones. One of them happened to be a little boy, no more than 5 or 6 years old. Sometimes I wonder how he died, but unfortunately, I can't talk to them. I mean, they're dead. What do you expect? I'm no ghost whisperer. Anyway, I'm getting off topic now. Number 2. Mannequins are alive. Not in the traditional sense of, well, breathing, but more like robots or automatons. I completely believe one day, when their numbers are high enough, or they collect a hive mind, they will kill all of mankind. I've personally been attacked by these things on a few occasions. Maybe not all of them have some form of consciousness, but the vast majority of them are able to attack small groups of people. Those people who disappear in the malls, that is their doing. Number 3. This one really takes the cake. Stuffed animals can influence you into killing people. Now, I don't know if mine was just possessed by an evil spirit or what, but when he told me to kill people in my elementary school just because I had a bad day, well, let's just say I didn't sleep with that animal for a while. No, I won't tell you which one it was. Don't want to ruin any of your childhoods. Also, before you ask, no, I'm not a murderer. Just because I experienced it doesn't mean I actually killed anyone. So, like I said, I'm not crazy. I have stories to back up most of my beliefs and rational fears. Now that I'm here typing all this up, I'm not even sure where to start. Maybe one of my childhood stories. Guess that's as good a place as any to tell you out how this all came to be. How I ended up being cursed by some sort of demon. Well, probably. I was about 10 years old. And no, I wasn't a horror movie buff at the time. I am now, but that's because I've become desensitized to it. 5th grade year for me was when it all started. When I started getting strep every other week. Sorry, I can't tell you where I used to live. I don't want anyone to recognize me. So, for this reason, I'm going to change the name of the teachers I had those years, as well as the name of my best and only friend. So, fifth grade year, my sisters and I decided to have a camp out in our room. The youngest of my sisters slept in the bunk bed, while myself and my other young sister set up blankets around the nightlight. Best a few kids could do, living in the mountains, where you had to worry about bears and mountain lions getting into your yard. Now, this was the night I met her, La Llorona. My father claims it was just a dream. What are they called? Night terrors. I'm not sure what possessed me to wake up at the witching hour. For those of you who don't know, that's the time where the spirits are closest to this realm. For me, this time was around midnight, about 9 minutes from when I'm writing this now. When I opened my eyes, I couldn't move. A ghostly arm leading to a hand covering my mouth, and the other end led to her. Her hair flowing like she was lying in water. That scar over her right eye, if I remember correctly. I could only stare at her, watch her as she held up a finger to her lips. I tried to scream, hoping to wake anyone in the house, only to find I couldn't do that either. Now, when presented with these details, what would you have done? I was still an innocent kid. Well, aside from my stuffed animal asking me to kill the other kids a few years prior. I did the only thing that would have made sense to my childlike mind. I decided to blink 3 times. I honestly didn't believe it would work. But, well, it was better than just lying there not knowing what was going to happen next. Luckily for me, it worked. And I got up, running into my grandparents' room. I spent the remainder of the night with them. Now, if memory serves, my computer teacher, a crazy woman who always called me a troublemaker, even though we both knew better, well, I'll call her Josephine. Well, she occasionally read stories to the classes. About a week after that incident, she told us the story of La Llorona, and that's how I knew who she was. Now you can understand why I am how I am, why I believe what I do. Knowing this, would you believe me if I told you that this isn't where it ends? After that visit from the terrestrial plane of existence, I turned to horror. I started watching Goosebumps, or The Haunting by R.L. Stine. He was where I learned about the darker parts of the horror community. Watching a few of Stephen King's works later in my life, I then started watching The Ring, The Grudge, and a few others. A few years ago, I started getting into creepypasta. Laughing Jack, Jeff the Killer, Slender Man, just to name a few. You all know what I mean. You're part of the community as well, after all. So, when I tell you what happened after I moved to where I am now, well, let's just say I warned you. Now, I don't work there any longer. I've moved on and been working this new job for a week or so. It's quiet for now, but I don't think it's over. I used to work at a gas station. Now, I know it's overused and overdone, and yet for me, this is where it all began. The dark shadows that are following me are coming from that store. I met that little boy at that store, and I think he might be hunted by the dark shadow as well. Learning to work with those black shadows, hiding behind every shelf, was difficult. Even seeing them stand not 3 feet away from a few of my customers, how they didn't see them I will never know. Some days I see just 1, other days I see 5 or 6. About the time I started seeing more of them is when I became aware that they were after me. No, I don't know what I did to get their attention. Maybe it's because, well, I know that they exist. Seeing the tall, shadow-like figures every 10 minutes when I wasn't blocking them out. Now, I'm starting to wonder if there's a way to see what they want from me. I've been thinking about getting one of those spirit boards and going off into the woods so that they're not in my house. I'm not stupid enough to get spirits trapped in my house, and it's not like I haven't tried to get their attention. I've tried that Charlie game and a few others. No results as far as that goes, sadly. I also haven't tried talking to them directly. Don't need to be talking to what looks like air to everyone else. Well, not in public. Should they stick around long enough to answer yes or no questions in my home, instead of disappearing before I can turn to face them, then I would happily do that. Though that would need to wait until I have salt, so I can do those salt circles to prevent evil from taking over my body. I don't think that works as well in practice as it would in theory, though. I know they are watching me as I type all of this up, so I need to give all of you a warning about the shadow people. Shadow ghosts? Well, if you see them, just act like you don't. You can't get rid of them once you've let them know you can see them as well. I'm going to do some research into ways to communicate with them for now. I'll get back to you if I find anything out, or if something else happens with other supernatural beings that I know about. For now, I'm going to have to sign off. Hopefully it won't take too long to get some much needed answers. So, shadow ghosts, the theme of our first story there. Now, is everybody warm enough? Come on, we're all friends here. Snuggle up a bit closer to the fire? That's right. Okay, ready for another one? Alright, the theme of this story is things that go bump in the night. I am the thing that goes bump in the night. I spent my first few centuries in seclusion. Sure, being worshipped as a god was fun for a while, but those petty mortals have no idea what it's like to live forever. I've had at least 10 generations come and go, while I keep living. The torture of getting married and watching your partner wither and grow old, while you live in eternal youth, unaffected by disease, unable to simply end it all. Oh, it's enough to drive a person mad. I was there during the Black Plague as well. They had me dispose of those that had fallen to this brutally painful disease. I did catch the plague once or twice, and it was agony, but, alas, it could not kill me, so I was to live with the pain of my body trying to rid itself of this putrid infliction. Then there was the London fire. I was there for that as well. I don't know what happened with that, though. I just snapped. I'd had enough of the pious morons worshipping the very ground I walk on, so they just had to be cleansed. As the years dragged on, I stopped living and simply endured my existence. I grew shallow and cold.